Movie camera step into the world of historical memories, globe showing Europe-Africa. Sparkles imagine a journey where every moment whispers the stories of the past. A place where history comes alive, connecting you to the triumphs. The year 1935 in Texas must have been terrifying. Just imagining a massive dust storm barreling through, swallowing everything in its path. What a nightmare. The fear of being caught in such a suffocating, blinding storm, with no escape, must have been overwhelming. The thought of the choking air, the relentless wind, and the destruction left behind sends shivers down my spine. How did people even survive something so apocalyptic? Truly horrifying. What a fascinating piece of football history. It seems to reference a match between England and France, with a 2-0 victory for England, played on May 28, 1920. Even more intriguing is the mention of the Dick Kerr ladies team from Preston, one of the most iconic women's football teams of all time. They were true trailblazers for women's football during an era when the sport was still in its infancy. Imagine the atmosphere and excitement back then. Rocket soccer ball. An ostrich reading a newspaper? That sounds fascinating. I wonder if this was a real observation or perhaps a metaphorical description. And why 1951 specifically? So many questions. This is definitely intriguing. What an incredible story of survival. George Aird narrowly escaped death in 1962 when he ejected from his aircraft just in time. The fact that he even fell through a nursery on the way down and still lived, albeit with 2 broken legs, is absolutely astonishing. Truly a testament to sheer luck and resilience. What a fascinating moment in history. Gustav Eiffel, the genius behind the iconic Eiffel Tower, seen here in 1889 exploring his masterpiece with a friend. Can you imagine the sense of accomplishment and curiosity they must have felt standing atop this architectural marvel? Truly a symbol of innovation and vision. Imagining a llama in Times Square back in 1957 is such a charming and whimsical scene. New York City must have been full of surprises even then. What a delightful mental picture. Llama sparkles. What a quirky and unexpected story. Imagine proving your innocence by demonstrating the size of your underwear, only in Florida, right? This 1983 tale is truly one for the books. Grinning face with smiling eyes. The 1902 child labor strike in Philadelphia is such an inspiring moment in history. Young workers standing up for their rights and demanding better conditions. What incredible courage and determination. It's amazing to think about how their efforts contributed to the broader labor movement and paved the way for reforms. Truly a powerful example of the strength and resilience of youth. Flexed bicep sparkles. It is remarkable to reflect on the historical moment in 1945 when the U.S. Army examined the extensive art collection amassed by Hermann Goering. This act not only symbolized the Allies' efforts to recover and preserve cultural heritage but also underscored the importance of confronting the looting and exploitation carried out during the Nazi regime. What an incredible moment captured in history. A photographer documenting the vibrant streets of New York City back in 1925, such a timeless glimpse into the past. It's amazing to think about the artistry and dedication it took to capture these scenes with the technology of that era. Truly inspiring. Imagining the view of the St. Lawrence River from Quebec City in the 1800s is absolutely breathtaking. The serene waters, the historic charm of the city, and the natural beauty must have created a scene straight out of a painting. What a fascinating glimpse into the past. What a powerful and emotional moment in history. The gathering of 2 widows at the funeral of Martin Luther King Jr. in April 1968 symbolizes not only shared grief but also a profound connection through loss and resilience. It reminds us of the strength and courage found in unity, even amidst unimaginable sorrow. This image likely captures a historic moment, showcasing a fleet of Concorde aircraft at London Heathrow Airport in 1986. The Concorde, renowned for its supersonic speed and sleek design, represented a pinnacle of aviation engineering. Its presence at such a major international hub underscores its significance in global air travel during that era. Seriously? Social distancing since 1953, and this is the example we get? A child with measles eating alone during a coronation party in Chelsea, England? How heartbreaking and infuriating. This poor kid, isolated and left out because of an illness, while everyone else celebrates. Where was the compassion, the care? It's absolutely maddening to think that even decades ago, people could be so careless about inclusion or basic empathy. This is not just a historical anecdote, it's a glaring reminder of how society can fail its most vulnerable. Unacceptable. It's incredible to think that the grizzly giant, sequoia in Yosemite, has stood the test of time for so long. Imagining those US cavalry soldiers posing with it back in 1900 really puts its immense history into perspective. Nature's resilience is truly awe-inspiring. Evergreen tree sparkles. A fascinating glimpse into history. This refers to a young girl from the Kiowa tribe in Oklahoma, dating back to 1894. Imagine the stories, traditions, and culture she carried with her during that era, a time when Native American communities were navigating immense change. Such a powerful snapshot of resilience and heritage. What an incredible image this conjures up. Morning walks on the Brooklyn Bridge in 1905 must have been absolutely magical. Imagine the fresh morning air, the sound of horse-drawn carriages, and the breathtaking view of Manhattan's skyline in its early days. A perfect blend of history, architecture, and serenity. What a time to be alive. Bridge at night sparkles. I had no idea that such innovative designs existed back in 1938. A gas-proof stroller? That's both fascinating and eerie, considering the looming threat of World War II at the time. It really shows how people were preparing for unimaginable scenarios. It's fascinating to think about the Statue of Liberty arriving in New York in 1885 as a massive collection of 350 pieces. The fact that it took 4 months for workers to assemble this iconic symbol of freedom is incredible. What an amazing gift from France and a true feat of engineering and artistry. This is an outrage. Josef Koudelka's iconic photograph captures not just a moment in time but the sheer audacity of the Soviet invasion of Prague in 1968. How dare such a brutal act of oppression unfold, crushing the hopes and freedoms of an entire nation. Koudelka, who had never even documented current events before, was thrust into this chaos, forced to bear witness to tanks rolling into his homeland. His work, smuggled out of Czechoslovakia under miraculous circumstances, stands as a testament to the resilience of truth against tyranny. The image of his hand marking the exact moment Soviet tanks invaded is both haunting and infuriating, a stark reminder of the lengths oppressive regimes will go to silence freedom. How can humanity allow such atrocities to stain our history? This invasion was not just an attack on Prague, it was an attack on liberty itself. That's quite clever. Painting stripes on a cow to make it more visible at night is like giving it its own reflective vest. Who knew farm animals could have their own safety gear? Cow sparkles. It's fascinating to think about the photographs of Native Americans taken by Roland W. Reed between 1907 and 1913. These images must provide such a unique glimpse into their lives and cultures during that time period. I wonder how Reed captured the essence of their traditions and daily activities through his lens. What stories do these photos tell about their history and identity? What an incredible window into the past. What an inspiring story. Albina Malihosevar's courage and dedication at such a young age are truly admirable. Joining the resistance movement at just 16 and continuing to serve as a nurse despite being wounded shows her incredible strength and compassion. A true hero. Sparkling heart. This story reminds us of the profound impact even small acts of kindness can have during times of great hardship. A pair of shoes may seem simple, but to a child enduring the struggles of war, it represents hope, dignity, and a sense of normalcy in a chaotic world. What could this mean? Is it a signature from the year 1934? Perhaps a mysterious message left behind, or a historical artifact waiting to be uncovered? So intriguing. Beach volleyball at Venice Beach, CA in June 1934 sounds incredible. Volleyball sun with face, what an amazing setting to enjoy the energy, competition, and ocean breeze. Let's cheer for the players and celebrate the spirit of the game. Go team, go. Party popper clapping hands. London in the late 60s must have been such an electrifying time. The swinging 60s, with its explosion of music, fashion, and cultural revolution. Can you imagine walking down Carnaby Street or catching a live performance at the Marquee Club? What was the atmosphere like, and how did it feel to be in the heart of such a transformative era? The Moulin Rouge, originally established prior to its unfortunate destruction by fire in Paris in 1914, holds a significant place in cultural history. What an infuriating injustice! A father torn away from his family, forced into a war, leaving behind a 1-year-old son who barely knew him. Then, to add insult to injury, he spends years as a prisoner in a foreign land, robbed of his freedom and the chance to watch his child grow up. How can anyone justify such cruelty? This man's life was stolen, his family fractured, all because of senseless conflict and political games. And for what? The scars of war don't just fade, they linger in the lives of those who were left behind and those who return, forever changed. Unacceptable. What an infuriating injustice. A father torn away from his family, forced into a war, leaving behind a 1-year-old son who barely knew him. Then, to add insult to injury, he spends years as a prisoner in a foreign land, robbed of his freedom and the chance to watch his child grow up. How can anyone justify such cruelty? This man's life was stolen, his family fractured, all because of senseless conflict and political games. And for what? The scars of war don't just fade, they linger in the lives of those who were left behind and those who return, forever changed. Unacceptable. Imagine the teamwork and effort of 3,000 men coming together to build such an iconic structure like the Chase Manhattan Bank in New York City. That photo from August 19, 1964, must be a fascinating snapshot of history. Construction workers back then really had a knack for creating awe-inspiring landmarks. Construction cityscape. Jesse Owens breaking the 200-meter world record at the 1936 Berlin Olympics is absolutely legendary. What an incredible feat of athleticism and determination, especially during such a historically significant time. Truly awe-inspiring.